Hey, this is Andy and Darla Jones, and we are in Cairo, Kentucky, at our home, quarantined.
Yep.
And like many of you, we've been married this year, going on 24 years,
Wow.
and we want to be a blessing to you today. A couple things that we've done is that we've spoken at different marriage conferences,
Yep.
many different marriage church events, and just been a marriage educator. And
Not really counselors. We consider ourselves teachers, coaches. We coach people through skills that we teach them, and love what we do. It's been quite rewarding to watch marriages be enriched and to be strengthened. And even sometimes we've seen some very dark situations in relationships be resolved. It's just been extremely rewarding. And so here we are today trying to share just a little bit of the wisdom and education that we have shared in the past. So, here's on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook because that's our way to connect right now. And I keep seeing people say, the stress of all of this quarantine and the unknown, it just feels like a roller coaster. Like one day you're on top of it, and the next day, it just like maybe you're biting each other's heads off and just grouchy and worried or scared or concerned. And it's just a roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster. And top it all off, we're inside our four walls. And we're closer than we've ever been, which sounds great until you try to shove 5 people with different personalities and different needs and different wants all in the same space, and they can't go anywhere else.
so what that means is we need to be intentional about being kind,
Right.
being pleasant to be around. And it reminds me of the scripture in Proverbs 15:1 that says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words or harsh words stirreth up anger."
Yeah.
I believe this is something we can intentionally focus on to make it much more livable in our circumstances, and especially in our relationships, how we can enjoy each other's company maybe a little bit better.
So sitting together as close as we are is actually a pleasant experience, right?
So to do this, I want to bring forth a concept we call the customer service minimum, or McDonald's minimum even. If you've ever been in customer service, you know the customer's always right, and you've got to put a polite, and you have to be polite, you have to be
Smiling.
exactly,
Yeah.
you have to say kind words regardless of how the other person is acting.
And even if you have to address a concern with the customer, you have to do it with a smile. You have to do it with a willingness to hear, to listen, and to understand, ask good questions, and just lean in toward understanding, because it breeds kindness and mutual affection and working toward a positive environment.
So why wouldn't we be kind to our spouse? Why
Well-
wouldn't we do the minimum required?
Oh man, do I tell him now that sometimes there's things he does that bug me?
This is the first basic thing we need to do as a couple,
Yeah.
is to be kind, be forgiving. We're all in this together, and we need to do whatever we can, and it just begins at being polite and kind.
That's right. It's just the start. Honestly, what that can look like is, sometimes when one person is edgy, the other one's having a great day, and so that edgy person responds to a statement that the happy person says with this kind of that bitiness, and well, then the happy person's like, "What's your problem? Like, I'm having a good day. Don't rain on my parade," right? But instead, being that the happy person can say, "Golly, what's going on here?" Right? Because we want to seek understanding and express kindness. And so just being able to say, instead of reacting to the tone, say, "Hey, are you okay? Come here. Let me give you a hug." Whatever it is that kind of breaks the ice with your spouse, can just be really, it can reset the tone for kindness. So, if you've been the bitey person, If you've been had a succession of grouchiness, maybe it's been several months long or a year long or whatever it is. We're not going to point any fingers. But let's, if you've been that person, your spouse may struggle a little bit if all of a sudden you start offering the customer service minimum with a smile and a positive tone. Be like, what is up with you? I remember the movie Love Dare, which was a great film about relationships, a Christian founded film several years ago. And in it, the guy had a lot of problems, had a lot of concerns, and he was really just being very unkind. And he had a moment where he woke up and he realized he was being unkind, kind of really just being a jerk. He was destroying his relationship, honestly. And so he has this come to Jesus moment, and he makes this change. Well, his wife, who has been dealing with the jerkiness of him for so long, she's like, what is up with you? And her response was not favorable at first. She did not trust what she was seeing in him. We know what that's like, right?
Sure. So whenever you first make that effort to be extra kind, smile, be extra polite, you may get some of that same resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be prepared for that and own it. It's okay. You can get through this with some perseverance. We deal with our kids all the time, right? Your daughter comes up to you and she says, Daddy, I love you.
What do you want?
I don't want anything, but Daddy, I love you.
Okay.
Oh, but can I go over to...
Yeah, ulterior motives.
You know the game, right?
Just be prepared for that and keep it up. And that's the main thing, because when you apply this, it's really going to start to change things. So our prayer is that there's going to be more laughter in the home, that people are going to be willing to share more. And it just starts with just being a pleasant person and being extra kind and being polite.
Yeah. And if it has been an extended time of a rough patch for you all, it may be good if you're the one seeing the light and having the kind of come to Jesus moment. It may be a good time to just say to your spouse, look, I'm sorry. I may have really been a jerk, and I really want to reset the tone and ask for your patience, that kind of thing. Just acknowledging where you are can sometimes break down that wall a little bit too.
Absolutely. So if this scripture means anything to you today, or if this concept of the customer service minimum struck a chord, like, share, or even subscribe potentially, and let us know if there's another challenge in your relationship that you'd like for us to address. We've got a long list already, but we'd love to hear what you have in mind.
And we've been married almost 24 years, and so you can't probably scare us with too many of the challenges you would mention. We've probably been there, and maybe just yesterday. So we're an open book, and obviously we'll share whatever we can to help. We sure want to be a blessing. God bless you all, and hope you'll tune in again in the future.
Have a great day.
Thanks.